For Nayaab, and she's going to just give me a little critique. But first of all, I'm going to show her my prosthetic piece. So, this is my prosthetic piece. I want you just to kind of zoom in a couple of spots here.
Okay.
So looking at this part here, this is a tube with a bolt and nuts that were welded there.
Mm-hmm.
This is a linkage over here. And I had to make that little link in there to keep it on the right fulcrum, as you can see here, how it goes up and down. This is just thin metal here that I just shaped in here. So over here is the latch. So just take a look right there. You see how the latch moves up and down?
Yeah.
When I'm moving ahead, you can see over here how this cam works. That cam and this linkage and this pivot here releases the linkage when you move weight onto your toe. So prosthetics are a little tricky. When you're on your knee like this, you want your knee, when you're on your heel like this, you want your knee to be locked. As you transfer the weight to your toe, it moves the cam this way, and then it unlocks the knee here. You can return it to this position here, and then it'll lock up. And now it's locked here. And this here is locked. These are all adjustable. Took a lot of thinking to get this. What's unique and what I like about this piece specifically is this spring does 3 functions, and it's just so luckily worked out that way. The spring returns the ankle to the neutral position or locked position. The spring activates the latch itself, locking, and the spring also returns the knee itself to the straight position. So that's that. My other piece I want to show you guys is this is the very first ever casting. This was done on February 9th. This represents a piece between me and my mom. It's not perfect, but what you can see here is how she moved from about 12 to 2 o'clock. If you move over to here, you can see how I was pressing to try to keep her still. And if you look over here, you can see how there was some rotation. It's not perfect, but we're just keeping it that way. Over here, you see a deformation or an imperfection. That was formed. It's kind of tricky. I did some investigation work because you can see there's finger or skin prints going up. This was actually formed. Take a guess. Can you guess what this was? How, Nav? How this formed?
No idea.
You know how this was formed because I'm moving. You know how these missing pieces were air bubbles.
Yeah.
But this was formed the second I attempted to keep my mom's hand from moving.
Oh, okay.
And what happened was, because of that moment, there was some expansion here of my forearm, some slight rotation, some pressure here. What happened is an air bubble was introduced in there, and then the air bubble stuck in there and sort of like an iceberg stayed there, and then the concrete filled in before. How do I know it was an air bubble? Because air bubbles on their own would not have skin prints.
Yeah.
So the skin print formed, then the air bubble went in and stretched up out inside there. So I'm leaving all those imperfections. I didn't bother grinding or cleaning it because, in my opinion, it's a more accurate representation of what my mom and I did on February 9th when we did our very first casting.
Yeah.
The nails are just anchored in there. This is some paint I put in there. There's some ink in there. And then it was just attached to a base there.
Yeah.
So this piece here I did this weekend, and I started out with an ink wash. One of my friends, she's a model, and she's also a registered nurse in the Penticton Hospital. Her name's Ingrid. Adorable lady, very confident model, mother, and talented skier, boarder. Anyway, I'd like to just get a little bit of critique. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade places with the camera and get some critique.
Okay. So first I want to say that it's pretty good for someone who just started painting. Because even I've been painting forever, and even proportion-wise, I've messed up a bunch before. But the one thing that stands out to me is that you should probably go over certain areas again, because you can see the background on her shirt.
Okay.
I would also recommend making the lines more straight, where you can't see any of the white. So I would put a piece of tape down and then go over it again. And then once it's like semi-dry, you pull off the tape and it has that like perfect line. And proportion-wise, it's like spot on. Like it doesn't look like she doesn't look deformed or anything. Like no hand is bigger than the other and stuff like that. But yeah, it's mainly about like going over it and layering. The shadows are pretty accurate. Just make some sections maybe darker. So like
Okay.
depend on the lighting of the room. So
Like which
maybe,
areas would you say darker, do you think?
so if the light was coming from like here,
Oh, I see what
you know what I mean? The shirt would be slightly darker here.
Oh,
Because
dimension.
of the shadow,
Okay.
like behind her hand, because her hand is forward, it would be darker around her knuckles on her shirt, because it would be like a shadow. And like probably here, because you're bending your arm, so it would be like darker here as well. Just small things.
Okay.
Other than that, it's pretty spot on.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, we're just gonna cut it right now. My friend here, artist.